Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna
kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Hare
sindhubhya
Ram
evacha
Ram
patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासा आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीला गुरुदेव की जय। All glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Chinmayi Vrajapriya Devi Dasi from Charlotte, welcoming all of you to the mid-morning Japa session. I thank each one of you for attending today's call. And thank you, Yashomati Mataji, for beautiful recitation of Bhagavad Gita. And please forgive me for interrupting your chanting. But it is time for us to move on to the next part of our session, which is class on Caitanya Bhagavat. May I know who all have joined today's call so that we can welcome and greet you all?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Neetu Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you so much for joining today's call and welcome Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Chinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Anita Ramya from Sharjah.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Welcome to the call and thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and doing all those services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Chinmayi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada, this is
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम सभी माताओं को। हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण। प्रणाम सभी माताओं को।
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, and welcome to the call. Hare Krishna, Sumitra Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji, for joining. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Chinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvik Devidasi from Texas College Station.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Welcome to the call, Mataji, and thank you for all your services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashomati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Welcome to the call and thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. So glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas, and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you for joining, Mataji, and welcome to the call and thank you for all your services and classes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Okay.
यूएस में से प्रोग्राम है।
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. This is based from US, but we have participants from all over the world, Mataji.
जी माता जी, ये मैं तो इंडिया से हूँ, मेरे को इंग्लिश नहीं आता इतना।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
मैं महासुंदरी सुमित्रा देवी दासी भक्ति विकास महाराज जी की शिष्य हूँ।
Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call. पहली बार ज्वाइन कर माताजी?
जी माता जी, आज ही मेरे को मतलब हुआ था ना मैसेज, तो पहली बार किया है।
Acha. Welcome to the call, Mataji, and maybe we can all say Hari Bol 3 times to Mataji to greet her. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
मैसेज तो मैं बराबर जुड़ती उसमें रहूंगी माता जी.
Yes, Mataji, please join every day. We have
जी,
class
जी.
in the morning, Srimad Bhagavatam,
जी
and
माता
Caitanya Bhagavata class too.
जी माता जी माता. हरे कृष्ण. प्रणाम. हरे.
Mataji, can I start? Hare Krishna Radhika Kasturi Mataji, please. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Mataji, before I hand over the call to you, can I read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today?
Sure.
Thank you. So today's quote is, as soon as you become God conscious, the demons will create disturbance, just like Lord Jesus Christ. He was crucified by the demons. The only fault was that he was God conscious. Just see, such innocent person. This was said by His Divine Grace at Los Angeles on September 13, 1972. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for giving your time and talking about the Supreme Lord to us. And Mataji will be reading, I will be talking about the Lord from Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya Khanda, 3rd chapter, 31st to 34th verse. So please take over, Mataji, eagerly waiting to hear from you.
Thank you, Mataji. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurasvishe Namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Bhakti Sangha, for giving me this opportunity to talk about the particular pastime that we are all going to relish from Madhya Khanda, Caitanya Bhagavata. So we can get started now. So I'll just go over the verses and read the English translation, and then we will see some themes from today's session. This is what we will do. There is no PowerPoint presentation with my class today, but it's going to be a very theme-based class, I would say. Yata degi shuni prabhu ananta bhuvana turaluma kupigiya daya yakana. Translation, 31st verse. O Lord, the unlimited universes that we see or hear about are all absorbed within the pores of your hairs. Translation by our Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura Swami. Srila Prabhupada, the universes are innumerable or unlimited. The innumerable universes are all situated within the pores of your bodily hairs. Hena sadananda tumiya, hena sadananda tumiye karaya kane, bala deki vedita hajani beke mane. You're always full of bliss in whatever you do. So how can the Vedas know your activities? Oh, eternally blissful Vishwambara. How will the limited Vedas know the topics of your variegated pastimes that you manifested various times? The Vedas are one means of vision for living entities endowed with material knowledge and conditioned by the three modes of material nature. Yet they are unable to describe the transcendental topics of Vaikuntha. Vedic literatures do not impart the supreme absolute truth, which is easily achieved by devotees. to the persons who are expert in karma kanda and jnana kanda and engaged in materialistic pursuits. Again, we are seeing the interaction of Murari Gupta with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And here we can understand, again, the first verse, that is 31st verse, is talking about the greatness of Lord Krishna. And the greatness of Lord Krishna, and the first verse is specifically talking about the portion of Lord Krishna, which is Karanodakshaya Vishnu. And how great is Karanodakshaya Vishnu? The universes are innumerable or unlimited. These universes are all situated in the pores of who? Karanodakshaya Vishnu, on the bodily hairs. This is the glory of portion of Krishna. Then what should be the glory of Krishna, my dear devotees? Isn't it? The second verse, that is the 32nd verse, is talking about, oh Lord, you know what? You are Sachidananda Vigraha. You are full of bliss. How can Vedas know your activities? Again, the point here is that only when Krishna reveals about him to somebody, then the revelation will happen, isn't it? So that is the point that is being talked about in the 32nd verse. Again, it is Murari Gupta who's telling, yeah, Lord, you have to tell about yourself to us. Otherwise, how can we know you? Otherwise, what qualification we have? Nothing. Third verse, that is 33rd verse. अतएव तुम्ही से तुम्हारा जाना मात्र, तुम्ही जाने लीले जाने तोरा कृपा पात्र. Therefore, only you know yourself. Otherwise, others can know you only if you reveal yourself to them. And then here, Srimad Bhagavatam verse is quoted to prove all of me, namely my actual eternal form, my transcendental existence, color and qualities, activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. Even if a conditioned soul lives in the abode of the Lord, his ignorance about the prowess of the Lord is not vanquished. Only those who are favored by the Lord can understand the topics of the Lord. So we need the mercy of Krishna to understand him. That is why we have seen, oh, glories are unlimited, your pastimes are unlimited. We cannot even, Anantasesh, he's trying to, get a count on your qualities. Guna, no, he's not able to do so. That is the glory of you, Krishna, isn't it? This is what we've learned from Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is so great. He has to just put his causeless mercy upon us so that we understand a little bit about him. Srimad Bhagavatam is it's not different from Lord Krishna. How can we understand Srimad Bhagavatam? Only through the mercy of Krishna and pure devotees of the Lord can we understand a teeny tiny bit of it. Otherwise, we have no qualification, dear devotees. We don't have any qualification because Krishna's mercy and devotees' mercy, we are able to understand teeny tiny bit. But there is so much more to know. He is like an ocean. And we have so much to relish also. So that is the point that is being made in 33rd verse of Caitanya Bhagavata here. And then the last verse for today. Tumara stuti mora kona adhikar, eta bali kanti gupta kari namaskar. What qualification do I have to offer prayers to you? Speaking in this way, Murari Gupta cried and offered obeisances to the Lord. He's crying. Oh, what qualification I have to even offer prayers to you? What does this show? This shows Murari Gupta's humility, my dear devotees. He's so humble. After knowing the greatness of the Lord, what can I say? How can I even glorify you? You have to reveal something to me so that I can even glorify you. And what qualification, when it comes to qualification or adhikar, what qualification I have, my dear Lord, to glorify you shows his humility and his humble nature, my dear devotees. He's crying in humility that I don't have any qualification, my Lord. This is the, again, we can see so many facets here. The first 3 verses is talking about Krishna's greatness. And again, as I told you, it's talking about Karnotaksha Vishnu's greatness, whose bodily force is where the universes are situated. And then it spoke about how blissful is Krishna and how can Vedas glorify Krishna. That is to say, oh Krishna, your qualities, it is all unlimited, and only you have to give your mercy to us so that we can understand a little bit about you, which is what the first 3 verses said. And then the 4th verse talked about the fact of how Murari Gupta is crying in humility to say to Mahaprabhu that you have to, what qualification I have, my dear Mahaprabhu, I don't have any qualification to glorify you. Like that, he's crying in an humble mood. These are the 4 verses for today, dear devotees. So I was thinking we will relish a little bit about Krishna's pastimes, meaning the first part of my class, I was thinking to go over prayers, because the theme here we see is Murari Gupta is saying, I don't have any qualification to glorify you. So I thought I'd probably talk a little bit about Krishna. Krishna, before appearing, what Devaki was going through and what Kamsa was feeling. This is the first theme we'll be talking in today's class. And the second theme that I would be talking is with regards to humility. Humility of specifically Sanatana Goswami from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the second theme we will talk. And then the third theme, if time permits, we will see Uddhava's humility. So these are the 3 themes for today, and we will see, based on the time that we have, how much we can relish. All right, let's get started here, devotees. Thank you so much. So the first theme, as I told you, is trying to understand pastime of Krishna, because it is so sweet. We definitely need to relish. And again, I'm going to speak Krishna's pastime, specifically canto number 10. As you know, Krishna's pastimes are canto 10. And chapter 2, these are prayers by demigods. And we'll be seeing a few verses from there, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 verses, depending upon how time permits. And then we'll go to the next theme. So the commentary that I'm going to be talking from is Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura's commentary. So Sripad Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So let's begin. A few verses from Bhagavatam. Understand Krishna's pastimes, his sweetness. Here we are specifically going to see, this is before Krishna's birth, and what Devaki is going through and what Kamsa is feeling before Krishna arrives. So it's definitely going to give us a lot of curiosity as to what Kamsa is going to go through before Krishna's appearance. And how Devaki Mata is, what type of quality she's exhibiting is something we will be seeing also. All right, so this is 10.2.19 from Srimad Bhagavatam. Sadevaki sarva jagan nivasa bhuta nitaram nateje bhojendra gehe ginishika varuda saraswati jnana kale yatasati. Commentary by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Devaki then kept within herself the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the foundation of the entire cosmos. But she was under arrest in the house of Kamsa. She was like the flames of a fire covered by the walls of a pot, or like a person who has knowledge but cannot distribute it to the world for the benefit of the human society. So, going to the commentary, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Pad is saying, this Devaki, she is serving as a shelter. For whom? For whom she is serving as a shelter? Who's that person? He is the shelter for the entire universe. What does this mean, dear devotees? Devaki, she has become a shelter for the person who is the shelter for the entire universe. And what does this entire universe include? One may ask the question. It includes both the aspect of material and non-material, prakata and aprakata. In both creations, Lord is the ultimate shelter. And for the Lord, who has become the residence? Devaki has become the residence. Even though the Lord is within her, his present, obviously, Devaki is having the Lord in her. But when it comes to the effulgence, is she effulgent? One may have this question, right? Lord is within her. How his presence does not radiate as brightly as expected. She didn't appear as ideally she should have been, failing to please everyone. Her radiance isn't widespread or vibrant. Now, the question may come, why is it so? Why isn't she shining as expected to bring joy to everyone around? Because Lord is in her. Naturally, we would expect that. This is the question that is being posed. However, as far as she is concerned, she finds happiness within herself. There's no doubt about it. Her radiance brings pleasure to only a select few, those who are intimately close to her, it seems. Perhaps it could be just one or two individuals. Yet, she should ideally bring pleasure to everyone around. But this is not the case. Why is it not the case? Her radiance doesn't extend or cover all of them. Why? So this is what we are going to see. Instead, it is confined only to a limited circle of individuals who are very close to her. Why does this pattern exist? This is something that we will be seeing through the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. For this, our Acharya is presenting an analogy, dear devotees. Imagine a scenario where there is a fire within the house. Okay, let's listen to this analogy very closely. Then only you'll be able to understand why our Devaki Mata is not exhibiting as much as radiance that is expected of her. Okay, please listen carefully, dear devotees, so that this analogy will help you understand the reason for why Devaki is not exhibiting effulgent radiance. So now, what are you imagining? You are imagining a scenario where there is fire within the house. Does this fire's illumination extend beyond the house, or is it visible to those outside? It is only perceivable to the occupants within the house, right? Perhaps it's going to be just one or two individuals. Similarly, when the Lord enters Mother Devaki, her radiance does not extend beyond the intimate circle. It is confined only to one or two individuals that are very close to her for her own self. Comparatively, the analogy of fire within the house applies here. Okay, another analogy. Just as the fire's warmth, Agnishika, benefits only a few residents within the certain mile radius during the chilly season, not the entire village, right? So Devaki's radiance provides pleasure primarily only to those near her. It's not going to reach everyone. Now he continues the analogy. Now this fire, right, that we are talking about, it will gradually intensify until it consumes the entire house. Right? Devaki's radiance, in a similar way, it is going to progressively increase, affecting the entire environment surrounding her. Just as the fire's warmth becomes widespread, providing relief to everyone in the village from cold. Similarly, what is going to happen? Devaki's radiance is also going to grow and extend, impacting more and more people, bringing comfort and relief to all of them. This is the analogy that our Acharya is presenting. Similarly, in the future, it is quite certain Devaki will ultimately destroy all of Kamsa's Aishwarya. Presently, what is happening to her? Devaki, what is happening to Devaki here? Presently, what is happening? This is before Krishna's appearance. What is happening to her? Kamsa is suppressing her. Kamsa has confined her. You know, he has put her in a house arrest. He has placed her in a house arrest. Amidst these walls, the Lord resides within her. And as we can understand, her influence is not extending to everyone. However, as Krishna is going to mature, a significant transformation will occur. Kamsa's dominance is going to crumble. Devaki will cause the destruction of Kamsa's opulent reign. Subsequently, this fact is going to now become widely recognized. Right? So, though this verse implies the Lord resides within Devaki, but she's not shining, the significance should be understood, as I mentioned. We saw the analogy of the fire And we saw how Devaki is ultimately going to destroy Kamsa's Aishwarya. Now, Devaki is being suppressed. We all understand Kamsa is suppressing Devaki. But what will eventually happen? Kamsa's dominance is going to be crumbled. And Devaki will definitely be the cause of Kamsa's, she will definitely be the cause of destruction of Kamsa's opulence. This fact is going to then be widely recognized also. This is what is the understanding. Now, our Acharya is presenting another example. He's talking about someone who is a Jnana Vanchaka, meaning he's a deceiver of knowledge. He's possessing so much knowledge. This individual who's a Jnana Vanchaka, who's being called as a Jnana Vanchaka, is possessing so much knowledge. But this individual is refusing to share the knowledge. Whatever he knows, he doesn't want to share. In doing so, what is he trying to do? He suppresses the presence of Saraswati within him. And then our Acharya is comparing here to say, just as Kamsa is suppressing Mother Devaki, this deceiver of knowledge who's a Jnana Vanchaka, he is suppressing the flow of wisdom by not distributing Saraswati. Like how Kamsa is suppressing Mother Devaki, here the Jnana Vanchaka is not distributing Mother Saraswati. Consequently, what is happening? Knowledge is inaccessible. And glories of Saraswati, glorious aspects of Saraswati, they remain unknown to anybody, unknown to everyone. Because this person is suppressing the knowledge that he has. In a similar manner, Kamsa is suppressing Mother Devaki, the possessor of residence of the entire material and non-material creations. She is the possessor of that. She is the possessor of the residence of the entire material and non-material creations, who is the mother of Lord Krishna. So due to this individual with knowledge not being distributed, what happens? This sinful act, Papa, is accumulating in him. When this sin increases, that knowledge, Saraswati, will destroy him because he is refusing to share or distribute the knowledge. So just as Kamsa is suppressing Mother Devaki, his offense, here we are talking about his offense will ultimately lead to his destruction by her in the future. How is Devaki going to destroy Kamsa? The destruction will happen through Krishna, whom Devaki is going to give birth to, and he is going to be the one who will slay Kamsa. She is definitely going to destroy him through Krishna. Right? So the first example is that of a fire confined within a house, providing heat and light only to those inside until it eventually consumes the house and eliminates the entire village. The second example is what we saw now of a Jnana Vanchaka who's suppressing his knowledge. Like that, we see Kamsa is suppressing, but due to his offense, he will ultimately be destroyed by Mother Devaki. How she is going to destroy him? Through Krishna. This is the verse. This is the explanation for the verse. Where we are seeing how Devaki's radiance was initially confined only to a few, but eventually what is going to happen? It is going to be known to everyone. Now, so what happened here? So when the Lord entered, she is not shining for the entire Mathura, but only to a few people. And Kamsa, he's noticing this change in Devaki Mata. In the previous instances, whenever Kamsa would look at Devaki Mata, okay, he would visit her, she has conceived a child, he would observe the situations. But in those situations, what would happen is, she would smile. Again, why is she smiling? Just to pacify Kamsa. Because just to pacify, he shouldn't doubt her or anything. That's why he always just, gives a smile to Kamsa. When, in the previous instances, Kamsa would observe her. But at this time, Lord is in her womb. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is in her womb. And her smile differed remarkably, isn't it? It's a genuine smile. It's a joyful smile, not a pretentious smile. compared, it is so different from the previous ones that Kamsa has seen in her. She radiated a natural happiness because of presence of Lord within her womb. This transformation in Mother Devaki, what happened because of this? It became very apparent to Kamsa. Oh, Kamsa noticed this and he saw it. Oh yeah, I could see Devaki glowing. And her smile is natural. It's like face is the index of the mind, right? Whenever you are glowing, it will be seen in the face. And how charming you are. What is this effulgence in her? What is this radiance in her? People would ask. In some saintly persons, we see the glow in effulgence. It's due to Krishna. It's due to bhakti flowing in them, isn't it? That radiance is due to bhakti. When we see that glow in the saintly devotees, it is due to that. In a similar way, we see here our Kamsa is able to notice this apparent contradiction with Devaki Mata. And this transformation again is due to what, dear devotees? Is due to the presence of Lord within her. Ajitaha. It signifies the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose effulgence is illuminated in the entire house emanating from her womb. So this is the point. Sometimes even a single person, whether a great sadhu, guru, or an individual, he can make the entire room shine. The radiance from one person can illuminate the entire space, and the entire gathering becomes illuminated because of that person. Similarly here, the brilliance from Devaki's presence is spreading throughout the palace, as you can see. Again, the term Bhavanam is used. It refers to substantial building, meaning it's just not a small confinement that Devaki is in. It's similar to a house arrest, you can say. The entire building is radiating because of her radiance. Upon seeing her, Kamsa's internal thoughts began to shift. Right? In previous instances, Devaki would just smile to deceive Kamsa. All she is trying to do there is just to pacify Kamsa, to keep him content. If she didn't pretend a smile, then he'll grow suspicious. Oh, something is wrong. Hasty decisions will be taken because she's not smiling. Kamsa may just do anything to her, so he just smiles. Therefore, she would smile slightly, it is mentioned, smitam, just to deceive him. However, her current situation now is totally different, dear devotees. She is no longer pretending for anything. Her appearance has been truly changed. Upon seeing her, Kamsa began to question internally, oh my God, is my enemy that is dwelling, he's dwelling in her. Is that the reason why she's glowing? Comparing, here, our acharyas are saying, comparing Hari to lion. Like the lion is trying to hide in a cave, isn't it? My enemy Vishnu, Kamsa is saying, my enemy Vishnu is trying to hide like a lion hiding in a cave. My enemy Vishnu, who is the lion, is hiding in the womb of Mother Devaki. This is how his internal thoughts are emerging. He's acknowledging that his enemy resided within her. Right? He's able to completely understand. Yes, my enemy, Lord Vishnu, like a how lion hides in a cave. Like that, my enemy Vishnu is a lion, and he is hiding in the womb of Mother Yashoda. Sorry, Mother Devaki. This is what is being presented by Kamsa. And following this realization of Kamsa, what all he did, this is what we are going to see, dear devotees. There's a few interesting things that are going to come up. Kamsa is pondering, oh, my enemy Vishnu is concealed within the small cave, a womb of my sister Devaki. What steps should I take now? What should I do? He contemplated, what is the duty? What is my duty in this situation? What am I supposed to do? The Supreme Lord, who comprehends his purpose, he is not going to give up his prowess. Devaki, she's a woman. She's my sister. She's now pregnant. Should I kill her? Should I kill her? This thought came to him. My prestige, my prosperity, my lifespan would definitely be diminished if I'm going to kill her now. Because, see, I'm observing Devaki with radiance. She's got this delight and splendor. And Kamsa is concluding definitely, undoubtedly, Vishnu is dwelling within her womb. Otherwise, how could this radiance manifest? Otherwise, how could she be so radiant and so nicely giving a smile to me? Like that, he started to think. Then he's saying, right at this moment, his enemy lay hidden with a small cave of Devaki's womb. He had located this enemy, and an opportunity now revealed before him. What is this opportunity? This enemy stood right in front of him, within this small space in Devaki's womb. Now, the question is, what should I do? Shall I end his life now? He's just right in front of me in Devaki's womb. He's right there. Can I just take his life out? If I slay Devaki, he will cease to exist as well, isn't it? What should I do? He debated within himself. He realized Vishnu wouldn't simply depart if he launched an attack. Lord Vishnu is not going to be passive. Rather, he would execute his plans perfectly and meticulously, without idleness or inaction. He's just not going to be dumb. He's not going to, you do whatever you want. He's not going to be like that. He's not going to remain passive. He will definitely execute his plans perfectly and meticulously. There's no doubt about it. He's just not going to be inactive. So this was the alternate perspective that he considered, that Vishnu will inevitably attack him. If I eliminate Devaki, it wouldn't discourage him from opposing me. Moreover, killing a pregnant woman would reflect poorly upon me. If I'm going to kill this Devaki now, she's a pregnant woman. What will people think of me? It will poorly reflect on my image, my reputation. It's going to be tarnished. Kamsa is aware that he is a very powerful king. People would perceive him as a man who murdered a pregnant mother. And what is this going to lead to? It is going to lead to bad reputation, and it's going to give him kalanka to his character. This is what it is going to give him. So, just thinking about these alternatives, first what he thought was, I'm going to slay this guy who's right in front of me in Devaki's womb. If I'm going to kill her, what is going to happen? He thought about the consequence, and then he just thought about his reputation from a reputational perspective. Killing Mother Devaki is not a good idea because it is going to tarnish his image and it's going to bring kalanka upon him. So then, upon seeing Mother Devaki, Kamsa attained certainty. He had now confirmed, yes, Lord is residing within her womb. No doubt about it. In the wake of this revelation, he began to reflect next course of action. What should I do now? Again, am I supposed to launch an attack against her? Should I extinguish this life of the child within her womb? However, he swiftly discarded that idea. No, I cannot proceed with that idea. No, not a good idea. The Lord is always resolute in intentions. He will undoubtedly pursue his objectives. He's not going to remain passive. Therefore, this option of killing Lord Vishnu in the womb of Devaki is not a good idea for me. So he just gave up that idea, discarded that idea. If I kill her, if I were to end Devaki's life, of course, from a people's perspective, it would tarnish my image. I'm supposedly a hero. A hero is resorting to attack a pregnant woman. Such actions, it's not going to be going good with people. My prowess would come under scrutiny. People would view me with suspicion. As a hero, I must avoid this grievous misstep. Now, it's more prudent to let her to give birth. Allow her to deliver this child. Yes, let her to deliver. Once he grows into youth, I can confront with him. I can engage with him in a battle and potentially vanquish this Lord Vishnu. This is a heroic act. This is how a hero acts. And my heroism is then going to remain intact because of that. It's a win or lose. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to fight with a grown-up boy as opposed to killing a pregnant lady in her womb. attacking her now, it's going to give me a ruinous consequence for my reputation. Moreover, the Lord's plans, it cannot be foretold. It cannot be, he wanted to devise an alternate course of action. So he thought it is wiser to wait for her delivery, face the boy then. This way, he can maintain his heroic station. This was his plan. However, there is one more at stake just than my reputation, he thought. There's a moral dilemma here going on with Kamsa. Attacking a woman, that too my sister, a pregnant lady, it is not according to ethical principles. This course of action would not only harm my image, but it's also going to transgress dharma, a moral order. Is it? I mean, it's going to transgress dharma. I'm not comfortable with that. The potential loss of my reputation is one thing. The violation of dharma, both have to be weighed, he thought. I must tread this very cautiously. So the fear of these repercussions guides his decision now. Thus Kamsa is acting prudently. He smiled at Devaki, realizing that attacking her is not a viable option for him currently. This is what he did. He just smiled. Yes, Devaki, I'm not going to kill you, isn't it? So this is what he did to Mother Devaki. After that, what happened? Kamsa is thinking, you see, if I kill this Garbhastri, the pregnant woman, what will happen? He thought about that consequence. What would be the consequence? If I manage to survive such an act, it will be equal to living a life equivalent to death. Because after killing this pregnant lady, if I'm going to survive because of that, it's equal to living a life equivalent to death. Such a life is very heinous. This realization, he conveys the sentiment through this 22nd sloka. This is what is being confined. I mean, this is what is being revealed, his sentiment. From a sentiment perspective, he's revealing all his feelings over here. So for any sinful or a cruel individual, life becomes a form of death. Furthermore, even in death, dire consequences await. What happens? What is this dire consequences he's thinking about? Such a person, while such a cruel person lives, fear might cause some respect from others. However, upon death, people sentiment shift, right? What they do, they curse upon this individual who has departed. Say, for example, a cruel person dies. And then what people will start doing to this cruel person, upon death, there is no fear for them, right? When he's alive, a cruel person, because he's cruel, people may fear to pass any comments. But after he's dead, that fear will be gone. And what will they do to such a person? They will throw some curses. Because he's departed now. The curse pronounces punishment after life. This is what he thinks. And it is going to lead me to places such as hell. In hell also there is Kumbhipaka, Rauravam and all that. So like various forms of punishment is going to await me in the hellish planets. So this is what will happen to me. After I die, people, if I'm going to kill Mother Devaki, who is pregnant, in her womb, Lord is there, I'm killing that child in the womb of Devaki also. What will happen to me? Okay, I survived through this act. Because of that, I survive and I live a life. During the time I live, people may fear and not pass any curse or any comments upon me. But after I'm dead, people will start throwing curses upon me. And because of these curses, what destination am I going to get? I am going to get a destination where there are hellish, I'm going to go to a place, hellish planet basically. This is where my destination is going to be. And this is what is awaiting me if I'm going to do this act. So, is it a good thing for me to kill this lady now, a pregnant lady now, like that? He's giving so many reasons to his mind to not kill Devaki currently. Let this boy appear. God has to appear, isn't it? Lord Krishna, our dear Krishna has to appear. And we see that Kamsa is going through such a tug of war with his mind, reasoning why he should not kill Lord Krishna before he appears. So he's then giving a reason to say, if someone thinks about their own body and harms another person's body, they only care about themselves. Such a person, while alive, won't have a voice. They won't be able to speak up. This person who only looks upon himself and cares for his comforts and his body, he'll definitely end up in a terrible place. He'll definitely end up in a hellish planet, which is the really, it's again a bad part of afterlife. While I may have a okay lifestyle now, after killing this boy in the womb of Mother Devaki, there is no doubt, okay, now I'll have a okay life, but then afterlife, what about it? It's not a good idea. It's going to be a terrible place. I'm going to have so much punishment in the hell. There's no doubt about it. I'll definitely go to the hellish planets. This is what will happen to a person who's selfish, who just thinks about his welfare, his body, and harming another person. This is what happens to such a kind of person. Knowing this, I should not commit the sin of harming Devaki's womb. It's not a good thing for me to do that. It's a sinful act that is going to lead me to a hellish planet. And people are going to be angry at me. They're going to curse at me. And because of that, I'm not going to go ahead with this proposal. So this is the 22nd, the commentary to the 22nd verse that is brought out by our Acharya, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. Now coming to the 23rd verse. So we just saw one verse so far, which had beautiful insights to how Kamsa was feeling and what all sort of sentiments he was going through, and he was giving us the reasons why why Kamsa should not kill Mother Devaki, right? So those were the reasons we saw, which our Acharya gave us insights to. And now we will see what else is going on. Iti ghora tamat bhavat sanivritta swayam prabhu ashte prakriti comes shamsta janma hare viranu bandakrit. I'm sorry. Iti ghora tamat bhavat sanivritta swayam prabhu ashte prakriti shamstascha janma hare Vairana Bandakrit. Sukadev Goswami, he's saying, deliberating in this way, Kamsa, although determined to continue in enmity towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, refrained from the vicious killing of his sister. He decided to wait until the Lord was born and then do what was needed. So, what did Kamsa decide? Kamsa decided, in the end, because of fear, he was not going to harm Mother Devaki. He just gave various reasons to say, oh, if I'm going to kill Devaki, it was going to damage my reputations. It is not going to let me be a good person. It is going to give me terrible acts of sin, because of which I may go to hellish planet. So he is waiting for the baby to be born. And what is his plan? He intends to attack the baby. He is planning to take action once the baby is born and see how the things are going to unfold. So this is what is the plan for Kamsa now. Okay. So why did Kamsa have this somewhat reasonable thought? Why is this happening to him? How is Kamsa changing into be a good person? It seems as if he's a very good person, isn't it? I mean, just from a perspective, if you were to see, it seems like Kamsa is behaving like a normal person, thinking and using his intelligence and trying to act in a rightful way. Any comments, dear devotees? What is the reason for why Kamsa is acting this way? Why not he could kill? And what is the reason for why he's doing what he's doing? Any thoughts in terms of just giving us any thoughts that come to you? Our acharyas are going to explain it, but I just wanted to get your perspective to see if you have any special thoughts on why Kamsa is doing this to Devaki. Just giving a leeway to her. Any idea?
Actually, he also knows about the Vedic injunctions also, Mataji. He is having that little intelligence, like what can be done, what not can be done. But still, he is thinking, he is having a selfish motive of himself. So he's involved in his sense gratification. So that's why he is in this dilemma. So should I think of myself or should I think of Devaki? So that's how I understand.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, Mataji. Anybody else wants to say or add on?
But in this context, you have explained it so well, Mataji. It seems like Kamsa is like a hero only now.
Okay, yeah, he is. He's acting like a hero, and it also seems like he's a good person now, trying to not harm Devaki, giving some concession for her at this point in time. So again, our acharyas are explaining why did Kamsa have this somewhat reasonable thought in him? It is because Lord Krishna is in Mother Devaki's womb. Kamsa's nature isn't typical because this nature is due to the presence of Lord within her. The presence of the Lord in her womb is reducing his wickedness, it seems. The presence of Lord in the womb is what is the reason for why Kamsa's wickedness and cruelty is reduced. So that's the point here, devotees, that needs to be taken care of, because it's very unusual for Kamsa to behave in a very nice way, right? So that is the reason. And now Kamsa's enmity towards Krishna is leading to what is called fear. The fear is consumed in his mind with the thoughts of Krishna. This is what is happening to him. His mind was continuously preoccupied with Krishna, whether he's sitting, sleeping, thinking, whatever he's doing, he's just not able to get over the thoughts of Krishna. He's always contemplating, oh, Krishna is going to appear in this form, that form, maybe this is Krishna, that is Krishna. Everywhere he's able to see only Krishna because of the fear factor. It is as if he suspected Krishna's presence behind the walls and pillars also. Yes, he may be there, he's here. Oh, I don't know where he is. This fear filled his mind completely with the thoughts of Krishna. And that is why Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha here in this verse. And in this context, Sukadev Goswami is pointing out Kamsa's perception of Rishikesha, the controller of the senses. It is indicated by this phrase, Rishikesham apasyat. Kamsa's continuous apprehension is leading to see Krishna as Rishikesha. The term Rishikesha here signifies that Krishna as the object for all senses, and Krishna is the controller of the senses as well. Kamsa's senses, Kamsa sensed Krishna through the act of smell, sight, through the act of hearing. This reflects Krishna has become the object of Kamsa's senses. He's able to see Krishna. Yes, if he hears something, yes, I could hear something related to Krishna. If I smell something, I could, he is able to see Krishna even in the acts of smelling, hearing, seeing, everything for that matter. That is why Krishna has become the object of senses for Kamsa. So this term Rishikesha underlines Krishna's role as the focus or object for the senses of Kamsa. This means everything appeared as Krishnamayam due to intense fear for Kamsa. Pure devotees, we all know, Uttama Bhaktas, Krishna, for them, they are able to see Krishna everywhere also, Uttama Bhaktas. And what is their perception? They are able to see Krishna due to their intense prema. They are able to see Krishna everywhere out of affection, resulting in pleasurable experiences. Contrastingly, Kamsa's fear is driving. That fear component is what is driving him to see Krishna everywhere. Despite seeing Krishna everywhere, his senses transmitted discomfort. This contrasts. When we think about Krishna all the time, then we should have that pleasure component, right? The bliss has to be there. This is what pure devotees experience. But when it comes to Kamsa, he was not experiencing bliss, but in turn, he was experiencing anguish and pain. His senses were transmitting discomfort, dear devotees. Not a good idea. This contrasts the distinction between devotees and Kamsa. The devotees experience joyous perception of Krishna due to love, while Kamsa's fear is resulting in painful encounters with Krishna. This is the difference we should understand. This is the difference. It is, Bhakti is, Sharanagati is Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilana Bhakti Ruttama. The service to Krishna with a favorable mood is called Bhakti. Otherwise, it's not Bhakti. When Kamsa is doing, you can't say it is Bhakti. Isn't it? Bhakti will give you Shubhada, auspiciousness. If Bhakti is not giving you the expected results, that means it's not Bhakti. Okay? So we need to understand this peer component is what is driving Kamsa to think about Krishna all the time. Krishnamayam. But again, it is not Bhakti because it is giving him pain and anguish as opposed to what the devotees go through, which is bliss. So these are few things that I wanted to talk about with regards to Kamsa and Bhagavatam. So now we'll move on to the different theme, that is humility, right? Which is what is being spoken about in the verse of Murari Gupta, where Murari Gupta is crying to the Lord to say, see, I don't have any qualification to glorify you, my dear Lord. What qualification I have, right? This was the mood with which he prayed. And now we are going to understand what is this humility, how our Goswamis have exhibited this humility. And Srinadapi Sunichena, Tharorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Caitanya Sadahari. When will this happen to us, right? We always have this question. It will happen as we practice bhakti. This quality, Shubhada is the term, right? Shubhada is what is going to give us humility. As we practice bhakti, we are going to become humble. And the extent we practice bhakti, to that extent we will become humble. In the real sense. It's not pretension, but in the real sense, we will become humble. It has to come from the heart. And when we feel from the heart, this is my position. That is the feeling we must have and we must hanker for. And here our Goswamis are exhibiting this mood and helping us understand how they really act upon any situation, given however hard that situation may be. Let's understand Sanatana Goswami's pastime and then see what Sanatana Goswami, how he's trying to act in a humble mood. We all know he was born in a very pious religious family in Bengal. He appeared about 550 years ago. And from his birth, he and brother Rupa Goswami, they manifested great qualities of devotion to the Supreme Lord. They were very, very learned and they used all the talents that God had given him for the sake of leading others in the right direction. But there was a very, very, there was this very cruel conqueror who became the king. And he decided if Sanatana Goswami and his brother Rupa Goswami are under his control representing the king, then people will follow. So he made a threat to them. You come into my service, otherwise I will, if you come into my service, I'm not going to punish you. I'm not going to punish the Hindus also who worship the Lord. Otherwise, if you don't come under me, I'm going to punish the Hindus. I will tax them heavily. I will torture them. So this was put forward to them. So for the sake of the brothers and sisters, he accepted the government service and he became the prime minister. He became like the brother of this king, this cruel king. He was so wise and so influential that the king would do nothing without consulting Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana. He gave him the major portion of his kingdom. He gave an incredible mansion equal to that of what he had. He gave them salary without any limit. He had such a power and control, but factually the king would do nothing without the advice of Sanatana. Sanatana Goswami was more powerful than the king himself. But he was never satisfied because he always wanted to lead a simple life, devoting himself to the loving service of the Lord. At that time, we all knew that there was this great incarnation of Lord Krishna named Caitanya Mahaprabhu or Chaitanya. So Sanatan wrote a letter to Caitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear Lord, I want to be your follower. I just want to simply chant and dance and live a life of a devotee. Please tell me what I should do now. So so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent a letter back, which was interesting. He said, just as a wife is in love with someone other than her husband, what she will do? She will perform her duties to her husband so nicely that he doesn't suspect that something else is going on. That's all he said. So Sanatan understood. That means, although in his mind and heart he was full of Krishna, keeping mind and heart on Krishna, he should fulfill all the worldly duties very carefully to this barbaric king. And he has to be patient. So some years later, what happened? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this village and told Sanatan, you better leave this kingdom, go to Vrindavan. So for Vaishnavas, Vrindavan is the most holy place in this whole world. It is the place where Krishna was born 5,000 years ago and he performed these wonderful pastimes. At that time, Vrindavan was simply a dense forest, okay? There were no temples. There were only a few sages who would stay there and worship the Lord. So Sanatan, after hearing this, he had finished up some last duties. Whatever is required, he just thought, okay, let me just finish them. And he was not at all interested in this kingly service anymore. So he would send some notes to the king that he was ill. Oh, I'm not feeling well. And he would stay in the house. And simply amongst other devotees, he would read the scriptures and chant the holy names of the Lord. The king's name was Nawab Hussain Shah. So his whole kingdom was falling apart without the advice of Sanatan Goswami. So he went to the place to see him. What is this guy doing? He's all the time sick. I'll go and see him. And then he went to the place to see Sanatan. He was not sick. He was simply hearing Srimad Bhagavatam with other devotees chanting and dancing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The king said, what is this nonsense? These are not the activities of a sick man. You come back to your office, Sanatan. Sanatan said, no, I'm going to resign. I no longer have any interest in working for you. If you want, you punish me, no problem. I can no longer serve you, demoniac king. No, for demoniac purposes, I'm not going to serve you at all. The king wanted to conquer another land. So he ordered Sanatan, let him be arrested and let us put him in jail. So now this king, he came to the land of Afghanistan to conquer India, a major part of India with his mass armies. So Sanatan Goswami, he was put in prison and his brother sent him some gold coins. So Sanatan went to the jailkeeper and told him, hey, do you like to have some gold coins? Let me just get out of this place. I'll give you some gold coins. He said, I'm not going to let you. The guard is saying, I'm not going to let you out of this place. I'll be in great trouble. I'll be punished by the king if I'm going to let you out. What are you talking about? But don't you see that I'm dedicating my life to God? See, I'm going to go to Mecca on a pilgrimage and you will get great pious credits by allowing me to go to Mecca. I'll give you twice as much gold and everything I have, I'm going to just give it to you. What about that? So like that, he proposed this to the Lord, to the god. And what did the god say? When the king asked, see, the Sanatan is also telling the guard, if the king is going to ask where I was, tell him I went to, I went to respond to the nature's call on the bank of river Ganges. And then what happened was I just drowned in Ganges river. He will accept. He will just say, okay, no problem. And then he gave him the gold coins. And the god said, yes, I'll do what you say. It's a very pious purpose you are going for. That's why I'm voting for you, okay? Otherwise, I'm not going to abide by what you say. So Sanatan, after this, he went to Vrindavan. It's a long story how he went to Vrindavan. But anyways, there are beautiful things that come around in that thing. But when he was living in the forest of Vrindavan, he had no home. He was living under a different tree every night. He used to have a big mansion. Imagine the king gave him a big mansion like that of himself. Now here he has to sleep on a hard ground. The king gave royal robes to him. He wore a one torn loincloth here. He would, that's what, I mean, see how contrasting his lifestyle is. He used to be in a royal mansion. He now is sleeping in the hard ground, and he used to wear royal robes. And now what is he wearing? He is wearing one torn loincloth. He would have to beg for his food. Every day he would get varieties of food in the kingdom. But here he would have to beg, go and beg. It is described that every 2 or 3 days he would get a handful of chickpeas. That is what he would sustain himself with. But because he was always immersed in, absorbed in the loving thoughts of the Lord, it was not a big deal for him. And then he wrote beautiful books. You know, if you look at Harvard University, the entire department is dedicated to studying their books. And Banaras University in India, the entire department there is, having the beautiful collection of Sanatan Goswami's beautiful writings, Rup and Sanatan Goswami. By their example, by their teachings, they touched hundreds and millions of people and generations to come. They're always absorbed in the loving service to the Lord. Although living in the simple forest of Vrindavan, they gave mercy to everyone who came in contact with them. It is described that in ecstasy of love, when they would think of the illusion and ignorance of the people around them who are repeatedly going through this process of birth, death, old age, and disease, tears would start coming in their eyes. Tears would fall from their eyes. They are willing to give up so much. They are willing to live a simple and austere life. They are willing to accept imprisonment. For what? For serving the humanity in the service of God. Sanatan Goswami, he is considered to be the emblem of humility, it seems. Although he was extremely learned, he had an excellent high birth. He was beautiful, young, handsome. He had all sorts of material qualification. He was powerful. He was famous. He always presented himself as the most insignificant servant of all living beings, dear devotees. He considered himself the fallen servant. He did not present himself as a show. But at the core of the heart, he felt himself to be the servant of the Lord. How is it possible that such a learned devotee, a powerful personality who is so pure and so spiritually advanced, would consider himself so small? In this material world, if you look at it in the contrast, people are battling to increase their ego. One wants to showcase themselves as small. Everyone is trying to inflate bigger and bigger. Right? Oh, how strong I am, how intelligent I am, how successful I am. My position, I'm the CEO of this company. So much is going on here, isn't it? But in this, even in religious circles, people could get puffed up because of their knowledge, because of their devotion. So, you know what? I gave up my family, I gave up sex life, I have given up eating during Ekadasi, nirjal fasting for long durations of time. Because of this, people could get puffed up, even in spiritual realm, that the devotional circle that we are talking about. So this is why we have to watch out for our ego. How are we behaving, in what circumstance, what we speak, and how we think internally. Our intentions has to be scrutinized and examined point to point. After reading so much, if we are still thinking if we are having so much ego within us, then we have to think ourselves, are we trying to change or transform? The greatest strength, it is mentioned in all creation, is humility. Humility alone can attract the power of Lord. This comes from His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. Maharaj always, in every lecture, he just brings up this point of Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishuna, Amanina Manadena Caitanya Bhagavata. He says the power of God is unconquerable. Your strength, your intelligence, all of your abilities, they are ultimately going to be defeated by the force of God in the form of time. It will all be vanquished. But your humility that you have, that is the one which is going to attract the supreme power of Lord. And it is the one, it will always help you, to guide you, to protect you, to uplift you in any circumstance of life. So this, it has to be naturally that we feel small. So Maharaj was saying, one time it looks like a psychiatrist said to him, it seems, what is this nonsense? You're teaching people to think they are small and insignificant? Maharaj, I mean, this psychiatrist was telling Maharaj, people pay good amount of money to me so that I can tell them how great they are. I have to convince them, oh, they are perfect, they are wonderful, they are this, that, successful and all that. This is what I do. I mean, this is what people pay money for me. But with you, you want to teach people the glory and greatness of Lord. And we understand the glory and greatness of Lord is what is going to give us the great satisfaction. Again, to be the speck of the dust, to be an insignificant servant. Not only just insignificant servant, we have to be servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. It's not that directly we are in touch with Krishna. No, we are the servant, and not only direct servant of Krishna, we are serving them. No, we are servant of the servant of the servant. This is what is humility. To serve means to be humble. I don't expect anything. I don't want to be in the limelight to showcase, yes, I have great talents. No. Even in the background I'm serving, I am receiving no credit. I serve. That is humility. The service of the bodies, there is service of mind, there is service of heart. Right? We need to give service of heart in all situations. It has to come from the heart. Yes, I serve to please Krishna. I serve to please my Guru Maharaj. I serve so that I can purify myself. This is the point. And, this is service. Service of the heart means whoever you are serving, you are the master, I am the servant. Whoever you may be. Even if you are a beggar on the street, even if you are a bird in the sky or insect in the ground or fish in water, I am the servant. I am the servant of Lord. God is great and God is in our heart and God is in everybody's heart as well. So Maharaj mentions humility is most precious and most important quality that attracts Lord Krishna. If you have everything else but not humility, it will not attract Lord. This is the wonderful quality that Sanatana Goswami exhibits. So again, the Lord is providing the sun. Without the sun, there's not going to be rain. The sun, it evaporates the water. What is the greatness of Lord? He evaporates the water from the ocean and he takes it into the sky and it forms the cloud. A wind comes and pushes it to the place wherever the water is needed. It then falls on the earth. This is the gift of Lord. Look at the process. It nourishes the seed, which is the gift of God. The seed then miraculously turns into a beautiful flower or a fruit or a vegetable or a grain. Such a miracle, no man can perform. God can only perform. He is great. Even with science, we can't create one small seed. Is it possible? This happens through the mechanism that Lord has given us. And millions and trillions of such miraculous seeds are formed by the Lord. And from him comes the big tree. This is the technology that Krishna has given us. He can put a redwood tree so high, so wide, so formidable, and put it within a seed this big. The redwood trees which is going to grow is encapsulated in the small seed, and then it grows so big. This is the capability of Lord. We have to understand that Lord is great, and we have to eternally serve him in the right mood. And for that, dear devotees, we have to keep on reading Shastras. Then only we can understand what the glories of the Lord are, so that we never get bored. There is so much to know about him that we never say, oh, I'm bored. There's so much, his glories, his pastimes, and qualities, so much to learn and so much to glorify. Our acharyas have given us so much, Srila Prabhupada has given us so much that we will be dearth of time to say we are bored. So with this, I will conclude, dear devotees. Thank you, Bhakti Sangha. Thank you, Preeti Vilasini Mataji, for giving me this opportunity to talk about the pastimes of Krishna, his greatness, and to talk about Sanatana Goswami. I don't think I would have time to talk about Uddhava's glory. but I think you understood the essence of what this verse entails. And some other time we can talk about Uddhava's glories as well. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to all of you all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Beautiful, beautiful class. It was an extension of Janmashtami special for us. And you were narrating so beautifully, Mataji. It was as though I was there in the prison looking at both of them, both Devaki and Kamsa. It was that way. So beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much for taking us there. And then the next part of your class, you spoke about humility of Sanatan Goswami. Very beautiful class, Mataji. Very beautifully done and very fortunate to hear from you. Can already see so many hands raised. Do you have time, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, Chinmay Mataji, for always being there. And I always think about our loving interactions that we used to have reading Srimad Bhagavatam. But definitely relish those moments. Thank you, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Anita Mataji, do you want to go ahead?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Kirtida Mataji can go ahead, Mataji, first. After that, I shall.
Kirtida Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful session. About you were talking about Kamsa and Devaki in the prison and referring to various commentaries of our acharyas. Mataji, just one thing, maybe I have missed out one of the point I want to ask.
Yes.
Like you started with this entire thing about the imprisonment and Devaki and Kamsa. How was, like, did you set up a context, like how all this entire pastime was connected to today's verse?
Yes. So this was obviously, see, the thing is, here we are talking about two things. So one is with regards to Devaki, one is with regards to the Lord, how great he is. And then we are talking about Murari Gupta's humility. So this is the theme for today's Caitanya Bhagavata session, if you were to look at it. Here, Karnodaksha's glory, Karnodaksha Vishnu's glory is being spoken, where it is being said, oh, you know what, Karnodaksha Vishnu is the one who holds the universes in the bodily force. And now, personality like Kamsa, how his cruelty got changed, how his cruelty is got transformed, just because Krishna is in the womb of Mother Devaki.
But how come like Karnodaksha, Vishnu and Krishna can be related?
Oh yeah, so the portion of the portion is what Murari Gupta is saying, he's so great. Then how great is Krishna? This is the comparison I have, Mataji.
But did he say that
oh no,
looking at your board incarnation, I'm referring to as you as one of the Vishnu form and how great Krishna is? Does he refer all this in the verses?
No, he did not refer into the verses. He was specifically talking about the Karnodaksha Vishnu and how great is Krishna as such, and which is where Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.32 or 34 came in to say Krishna is great. And Krishna's glories are being exemplified in 2.9, Canto 2, 9th chapter. So that is why I brought up this to say, even a person like Kamsa, his attitude can change. He's such a cruel person by nature, but his cruelty is diminishing because of Lord's appearance. Lord has not even appeared, it's going to appear. And he could see such a transformation, and Lord can bring auspiciousness. Such is the greatness of Krishna.
Okay. Sure, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for helping me explain this part, Mataji.
Thank you. Anita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandar Prams, it was just like a film I was watching. So, telling about Kamsa, about Krishna's birth, how the Lord is very when the Lord is there, then everything and the darkness goes. So everything will become effulgence. So, and also Sanatan Goswami. So it was very nice, Mataji, the way you explained. I don't have any question. I just want to appreciate about the class. It was just like I'm watching a drama in front of me. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna devotees. Any more realizations or questions?
Hare Krishna, HG Kasturi, Radhika Mataji, कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम, शिल प्रभुपाद, शिल गुरुदेव की जय, गोपीनाथ की जय। जब भी आप आते हैं माताजी, बहुत पोटेंसी होती है आपके क्लास में। हम तो क्वालिफाइड नहीं है कि लीला में एंटर हो पाए माताजी, पर वी कैन विजुअलाइज ऑल द लीलाज माताजी, दैट मच पोटेंसी। इतने मतलब जब हमारे अंदर हम्बलिटी होती है तो ही हम वो अच्छी तरह से प्रेजेंट करते हैं और वो वैष्णव के हृदय को टच कर जाती है। बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से आपने आज क्लास प्रेजेंट किया। हमेशा माताजी जब भी आप आते हो, नो नीड माताजी, आपने शुरुआत में बताया था कि मैंने ये प्रिपेयर नहीं किया। आई नो माताजी, यू आर वर्किंग इन IT field and I seen my daughter Mataji, how busy you are in your work, and you are taking your 2 kids in a bhajan classes and classical music classes and given a Krishna concert, especially Vaishnav song to them, Mataji. Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam. So many lessons I learned from you each and every time, Mataji. Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam to your sincere seva. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gopinath ki jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. I think I learned humility only from you, because you're such a senior devotee, but appreciating each and every devotee with your heart, because we can see the heartfelt message that's coming from you. I think with Bhakti Sangha, I see your humility in all possible ways in all classes, Mataji. Wish to have this mood that you're exhibiting. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
1 second, Mataji. Because of your work, you are not able to come in a Bhakti Sangha morning and afternoon class. But we know that, we understand that you are attending, hearing at evening time both class, Mataji. जब हम बहुत सुनते रहते तो ही वो हमारे स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर और श्रील प्रभुपाद, श्रील गुरुदेव श्री राधा गोपीनाथ की मर्जी से हम प्रेजेंट कर पाते माताजी, और वो वैष्णव के हृदय को टच करता है। थैंक यू राधिका माता, राधिका कस्तूरी माताजी, बहुत हृदय से आपने आज क्लास लिया और जो हम्बलिटी की जो डेफिनेशन है वो आपने प्रूव कर दी। हरि हरि गौरंगा, कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम।
Thank you, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna. Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Kasturi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class of Krishna Katha. Very grateful to you, Mataji. Thank you so much for telling about the Lord's glories. Whenever the Lord is present, all the evilness and bad will go away automatically. Even though whoever it is, how much bad he is, you have to bow down to Lord's goodness. I mean, we cannot be like in Bhagavad Gita it says, "No, he is a cheater than cheater." We can't become great cheater in front of Krishna, or we can't like Kamsa was bent down to Krishna, right? It went according to Krishna's plan, whatever that's how he could not do anything to Devaki when she was carrying Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, there are some comments in the chat. Neetu Mataji says, Hare Krishna Mataji, beautiful class. Parima Mataji is appreciating you for a wonderful class, wonderful service. Yashomati Mataji says, beautiful class. Pastime of Sanatan Goswami is so nice. I loved the session. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, are there any more comments or realizations? If not, with your permission, shall we end the call, Mataji? Thank you so much once again, Radhika Kasturi Mataji, for your time and a beautiful session. I'll offer my obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and to you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya evacha
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
जय HG राधिका कस्तूरी माता जी की
जय।
जय जय गौरंगा श्री श्री चैतन्य भागवतम की जय। थैंक यू
जय।
माता जी, कोटि कोटि
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining today's class. We'll close the call today. Hare